All right, today is April 8, 2021. This is the meeting of the Kubernetes Storage Special Interest Group. As a reminder, this meeting is recorded and published on YouTube. So on the agenda today, we're going to go over the items that we've been working on for the 121 release. That release is happening today. So we just want to get a status update for what made it into the release and what did not. And next time we can do planning for the 122 cycle. So if you have any items that you want to start working on in 122, bring those to the next meeting and we can make sure that they're tracked by the SIG and appropriately assigned for review and everything. In the meantime, if you have anything else that you'd like to discuss, feel free to add to the agenda doc. The link to the agenda doc is in the calendar invite. All right, let's go ahead and switch over to our SIG storage planning spreadsheet. Make sure there is a column here for today. Today is April 8, 21. First item that we have here is delegate FS group to CSI driver instead of kubelet. Hemant, are you on the line?
Yeah, I'm here. I don't have any new update. It's still blocked on CSI spec change. I
Okay,
pinged James offline, and yeah, I could not attend last CSI community testing meeting, but yeah.
sounds good. So we'll go ahead and get this moved over to 122 and mark the status as started. Next up is CSI Online Offline Volume Expansion. Last status update here was made some fixes. We'll have more changes in 122 and a cap for recovery for failure. Anything new here?
No, same.
Okay, sounds good.
So yeah, gonna have some work in 122. Yeah.
Perfect. So get that moved over to 122 as well. Next is recovering from resize failures. Seems like the same update here as well.
Yeah.
Okay. Mark that as next up is SE Linux recursive permission handling.
No update.
Okay, and we plan to move this to 122.
You can try. I will try to find somebody else to work on it.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure I will not have time in the next release.
Makes sense. Okay, no worries. We'll try to move it to 122 and see if we can find someone to pick this up. Next item is the CSI entry read-only handling. Chang, are you on the line? So I don't think Cenk has gotten a chance to work on this. I'm not sure if he's going to be able to commit to it moving forward. So let's move it to 122 and see if we can find a new owner for it. Maybe Cenk can help review it. Next item is issues related to assuming volumes are mount points. Last status here was PR was reverted due to a race between pod deletion and volume management. No solution yet. So this sounds like a move to 122. Anybody want to add a new status or anything additional here? Okay. All right, next up is storage capacity tracking for pod scheduling. Anything on that? So last status here was review in progress in external provisioner end-to-end tests merge. Does anyone know if those reviews were merged or they're still in progress?
So there are 2 PRs, I think, open. Cheng is helping review for the external provisioner. And I think we're trying to get those in hopefully by end of this week, and then we'll cut a release for the external provisioner.
Okay. Okay. So 2 PRs open, trying to merge by end of week, and cut releases by after.
Yeah.
Thank you. So I'm going to go ahead and keep this as started, but I don't think this necessarily needs to be moved over to 122. Looks like we'll be wrapped up mostly, at least for the beta. Okay, next item is PVC inline ephemeral volume, work with CSI drivers. This was completed, so you can mark that as done. Next up, we have spreading over failure domains. This was a design. It was dependent on the next item, so move that to 122. Mark the status as not started because of the dependency. And the dependency is volume group API. We will, Xing, I guess status here is moved to 122.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I need to update cap. Yeah.
Sounds good. Next item is CSI out of tree, move iSCSI driver fit and finish.
This has been started, but there's been no update since the last meeting. So this
Okay.
should be moved to 122.
Perfect. It's life easy. Mark that as started. Move out NFS provisioner. We haven't gotten an update last time. Previous to that, it was doc updates and Helm charts needed. Work in progress, still targeting 121. Michelle or Karen, are you on the line? Anybody else happen to have? Oh, hey.
I haven't heard from Kieran on this. I think the last thing was that it was cut, but it's just the documentation needs to be updated. I think that was the last update.
Okay, let's say we're going to move this to 122 and hopefully get a final status on this. I'm going to go ahead and mark it as started. Next item is PVC volume snapshot namespace transfer. This was a design for this quarter. There's been some meetings that have been held so far. Sounds like move to 122 would be the most appropriate here. Christian?
Yes.
Perfect.
Move to 122.
Okay. Next item is CSI volume health. Last status update here, doc PR is in progress, working on removing agent logic from external health monitor. Anything new here, Shing?
This is done. We're just wrapping up and planning to cut a release of the sidecar next week. But I also get some new requests making volume health available so that the controller can do some reactions. So I think I will schedule some meeting to gather more requirements on that.
Sounds good. Sounds like the natural next step. So I'll go ahead and mark that as done, and then we can figure out what we want to do with that next cycle. Next item is volume populator data source. Ben.
Yeah, all the code has been moved into new repos. We're getting the initial review of the initial check-in completed. Someone already found a bug and submitted a PR to fix it, which is great. But we haven't set up things like the proud jobs or some of the other stuff. So there's a lot of just initial repo bootstrapping. We're driving towards an alpha release in the next couple of weeks, so that we can get to beta in 122.
Okay. I'm going to mark this as started. All right, thanks, Ben. Next item is Cozy. Jeff, John, Serini, Sid, anyone on the call? Okay, sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say, if no one's here, I can just report that there's a lot of work going on in the design meetings and updates are happening, but I don't know if we've reached any concrete new milestones. Certainly they're gonna try to get the CAP approved for 122.
Makes sense.
Oh, and also I should mention that every other Monday they're using the meeting as like an introduction for new people who just want to come and learn about it. I don't know if it's last Monday or next Monday, but they're trying to encourage people to come and ask questions and join.
That's awesome. So yeah, if you're sitting on the sidelines and wondering how to get involved with the Cozy project, this would be a good opportunity. They hold meetings twice a week on Mondays and on Thursdays. On Thursdays, it's right after this meeting. And on Mondays, you can look at the SIG storage calendar to find the exact time. So it looks like every other Monday they're using that meeting to introduce new people to the project. So good way for folks to get involved if they're interested. All right, next item is change block tracking. Xing?
So we're just doing some documentation on this.
Okay. Is this a move to 122 complete?
Yeah, this will be moved to 122, yeah.
Okay. Sounds good. Next item is new read write once access mode. Chris?
Yeah, so the CAP for that, all the fields required for alpha are filled out. I got some preliminary feedback and I'm addressing that.
Okay, sounds good. So we'll go ahead and get that moved to 122 then.
Mm-hmm.
Next up, update topology labels from beta to GA. Last status here was working on Azure File PR. Layla or Jiawei, are either of you on the call?
Yeah, so I think the Azure Disk change is ready, and Lila is working on Azure File.
Okay.
And also, I think the vSphere topology, it's still using beta, so vSphere still need to make another PR.
Okay, sounds good. So we'll go ahead and move this to 122.
I'll add to that. I don't think Azure File is zone aware, so it doesn't require updating the topology labels.
Ah, perfect. That makes life a little easier. So Azure File, not zone aware, so no. Sounds good. Seems like we've made good progress here, and we'll continue that in the next cycle. CSI Migration, another one with a lot of good progress. Jiawei, you want to talk about this one?
Yeah, so I think from last time we don't have much updates, but yeah, I do have a lot of planning stuff to do in 1.22, especially on deprecating some of the plugins that will not support CSI migration. So I think we'll talk about this more in the tomorrow CSI migration meeting. Yeah.
Perfect. And is there any entry driver that you haven't gotten some owner to pay attention to that you need? If so, we can make a call out here for those people.
Yeah, most of the drivers I have already like create an issue in Kubernetes and add their owners.
Got it.
So namely, so first is Ceph FS and Ceph RBD. So I know Humble is working on this, but I couldn't reach out to him, and he seems not replying. So this is what the first one, and the second one is Gloucester FS, and I believe the owner is also humble, and so I think if he can reply, then we can decide what's the next step for that.
Okay.
And besides that, we also have a Quobite driver, yeah, and that one I pinned the Quobite CSI driver owner, and hopefully they can get some reply on that.
Okay.
And I think besides that, all the other entry, like vendor drivers, they are already decided to deprecate. So yeah, that should be good.
Okay, so if anybody on the call knows someone who is very interested or owns the Ceph entry driver code or the Gluster code or the Quobike code, please reach out to Jiawei. He's trying to plan the transition of the entry drivers to CSI. So please reach out to him. He's holding meetings on Friday for CSI Migration. It would be good to get those owners involved. Thanks, Jiawei. And so I guess now we want to get status updates for each of the drivers, the cloud provider drivers. We've got vSphere up first. Last status here was support for 67U3 will be in release 2.3, which is work in progress. Need to follow up on CSI Windows support.
Yeah, so that's still true. And also, Jiawei mentioned that we also need to update the topology label. So we're going to do that one as well in 1.22, please.
Okay. So say move to 123, update topology label. And
22.
Oh, yes. Thank you. And we'll say that started. Azure Disk we skipped for this cycle. Azure File. Move to beta. Issues will be fixed later. Have the issues been fixed here? Jiawei, do you know Azure File status?
I know last time there is a regression issue about Azure File secrets, and I see that it's already been reverted. But that doesn't impact CSI migration, I guess. I don't know if Michelle, do you know? Yeah.
No, I think the revert of the Azure file regression is basically causing CSI migration to be broken for inline volumes. And so Andy is working on a fix for that.
Okay, looks like this will be work that'll get carried through. Do we have like a partially working, partially broken in 121 then?
Yes, CSI migration is broken for inline volumes in 121.
Got it. So revert caused CSI migration to be broken. That is unfortunate. Hopefully whatever fix we have, we can backport to 121. Next item is GCE. Matt, are you on the line? So I think the status here is this is being moved to 122.
Yeah, I can give updates. So for GCE, everything is going on schedule for GKE. So we're still turning on a CSI migration by default in 1.21 for GKE, and also we're doing some more CSI migration upgrading testing in our GKE environments, and for GCE, we're like it's still working as expected. Like we're still working on the cube up script change.
Got it.
Yeah.
All right, thanks a lot, Jiawei, for the update. Looks like we'll mark that as started and get it moved over. And then finally, we have Cinder. Last status here is beta
It is.
and on by default.
Yep, the status is the same. Like
Okay.
it is on by default. It will be on by default and beta in the next release, and in 1.23 it could be GA.
Okay, sounds good. So I'm going to go ahead and mark this one as done. Nice work. All right, the next set of items are co-owned by SIG Storage as well as other SIGs. First up here is SIG Node co-owned Ungraceful Node Shutdown. This was a design for this quarter. Last status update was that we'll update the KEP here. Shing, any updates on this?
Yeah, so I updated caps, moving to 1.22.
Okay. Sounds good. I'll go ahead and mark this as started. And we'll get that moved. Next item is...
Wait. Saad, do you have me as a reviewer on that?
Let me take a look. I do have you as a reviewer on this. There's a lot of reviewers on this one.
Yeah. I just wanted to mention that I'm also volunteering to do the CSI spec change proposal for this. And
Okay, perfect.
I plan on getting to that in 122 because this is pretty important.
So what I'll do is actually put you down as a... I'll put you down on the code side.
Thank you.
Sounds good. All right, thanks, Ben. Next item is enable user namespace in kubelet. So UIDs, enable user namespaces in kubelet so UIDs get shifted. Mauricio or Hamant, any updates?
I think the KEP did not merge in the listing last quarter, so we have
Got
to
it.
kind of review it.
Okay, so we'll go ahead and get that moved to 122 then. All right, next up is address issues. PVC created by stateful set will not be auto-removed. Miss the code freeze, target 122, seems straightforward, move to 122. Anything anybody wants to add here? All right, next up is volume expansion for stateful sets. We need a new owner for this one.
So I actually got a potential owner. So right now I
okay.
just temporarily put my name there, but once I confirm, I will change the name.
Okay, awesome. So we'll get this moved to 122 and hopefully get a confirmation on who will be picking this up. Next up is execution hook. The last status update here was reviewed a new API proposal. Need API review again. Anything new here, Shing?
So yeah, so the CAP is updated. We got some comments, but we still need to get reviews from the API reviewers. Yeah, so that's the status, and moving to 1.22.
Perfect. Mark that as started, get that moved over. Next item is the Kubernetes mount util library, splitting that into a new repo, adding end-to-end tests, doing a formal release for that. Looks like we haven't really gotten any updates recently for any of that work. Last status was it was waiting on this Moby library to be updated. Serini, I guess, hasn't been on these calls. Jan, or does anybody else have an update on this?
So the actual library is in staging now, and CSI drivers can start using it. I think the thing that's remaining is cleaning up the old location and like removing it or deprecating it there, and that is blocked on Moby changing their dependency or something like that. or C advisor changing their dependency. I'm sorry, Saad, you're muted if you're talking.
Oh, thanks. Cool, sounds good. We'll go ahead and get this moved to 122. Thanks, Michelle. And next up, prioritization on volume capacity is done. User ID, ownership in config maps and secrets, co-owned with SIG auth. Last status update here was another contributor may work on it, so it sounds like that's moved to 122, and hopefully we can get the other contributor identified. And anything else here? Okay. And finally, we have the CSI proxy for Windows. I don't believe it was targeting GA this cycle, right? This is targeting GA for the next cycle. Jing or anyone working on Windows on this?
Yeah, this is Mauricio.
Hey, Mauricio.
Yeah. So yeah, we're going to work on integrating the CSI proxy version 1. We're going to release V1 of CSI proxy and integrate it with GC and with TDCSI this quarter. And hopefully we can bring Windows to GA.
I thought Jean said this 1.21 GA. I think she just said that like a couple days ago.
Like, I think it's technically not tied to any Kubernetes release, but I think she was thinking sometime in the next month to release the V1 CSI proxy.
Okay, so that technically still 1.21. It's before 1.22.
Yeah, it's kind of in the middle.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. Thank you, Mauricio. Thank you, Xing and Michelle. Yes.
Sorry, about the number 39.
39,
so
yep.
Yeah, we got another owner of this, and it's called Ambashak.
Okay.
I think he's from Microsoft, and he has already started working on this. There is an enhancement issue open and a cap open. I'm currently reviewing on that.
Perfect. And can you put their GitHub in?
Yeah, sure.
Perfect. Sure. Thank you. And I'm going to move you to reviewer. All right. I think with that, we've got a status update for all the items that we worked on in 121. And thank you for everyone who's worked hard on this release. We also started a document capturing kind of the big features that were released as part of this cycle. The highlights here are immutable secrets and config maps, which went to GA, storage capacity tracking, which went to beta, generic ephemeral volumes, which went to beta, Azure file CSI migration to beta, CSI service account token to beta, and then volume health monitoring and prioritizing nodes based on volume capacity to alpha. So the SIG has accomplished a lot for this 121 release. So thank you all for your hard work. And moving forward, we are going to do planning for the 122 release in the next meeting, which will happen in 2 weeks. The exact timeline for the 122 release is yet to be finalized. And as soon as it does, we'll surface it here. But roughly in the past, we followed a 3-month cadence. So first month is feature freeze, second month is code freeze, and third month is the release. We'll see if we do a 3 or 4 month cycle this time. I think the release teams are trying to figure out whether Kubernetes should remain on a 4 release a year cycle or move to a 3 release a year cycle, which is what we did last year due to COVID. I think all of that is still pending. I think that's all I have for this meeting. Was there anything else anybody was hoping to discuss today? All right, going once, going twice. All right, I guess we can go ahead and end it early today, and you'll get 25 minutes back in your day. Thanks, everyone.